Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let me show you how to use the cropping tools in Mac Photos. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So one of the fundamental things you may need to do with photos in the Photos app is crop them. Let's choose an example photo like this one and say we want to get to the cropping tool. The cropping tool is one of many edit tools available here. So first you need to enter edit mode. You can click the edit button here at the top right hand corner. You could also use a keyboard shortcut. Under image you'll see show edit tools and the keyboard shortcut there is just the return key. So we use return and we're in editing mode. Now you'll see there are several different modes inside this: adjust, filters, and crop. I can click here to enter the cropping mode. The keyboard shortcut is just to press C at this point. Now you're in the cropping tools here and you'll see them here on the right. So the basics are you've got this box with these four corners here that you can now drag to crop the photo. So for instance if I want to crop out some of the bottom left I can drag the corner here and you can see as I drag what the crop will look like. And I could release. It will then recenter and resize the photo so now I just see the cropped area. I can continue to crop it more like that. And if I want to crop back out I can simply drag in the opposite direction and kind of push against the edge of the window and it will come back out to include more of the photo. And then wait a second and you can see it resizes and recenters. You can also drag the edges like this to crop, and if you hold the Option key down and drag one of the corners then all four corners move in and out together like that. Other modifier keys do other things. For instance, if you grab a side, Shift key down, notice how the top and bottom will change along with the side you're dragging, but the opposite side will stay in the same place. If you hold the Option key while dragging a side, then the opposite side will drag along with it. Now let's say you crop a photo to get it to be about the right size, but you don't have quite the right part of the photo in there. Instead of recropping everything, simply click and drag in the middle of the photo and the crop stays the same, but what part of the photo it's showing will change. Another thing you can do when you're in the middle of cropping is on a trackpad use two fingers to pinch in or out to zoom in or out on the photo. Now chances are when you're actually dragging a corner you're going to end up with a non-standard width and height ratio, which may be fine for a lot of uses. But if you want it to stick to something standard you can use the aspect menu here. For instance you can choose square and you get a perfect square. The width and height are equal. So at that point you can zoom in and out and drag around to get your photo to fit within that square. You could also of course hold the Option key and drag a corner and it will stay a square. But you can use other ratios as well. For instance the standard for video is 16:9. So if you're planning on using this photo maybe in an iMovie project you may want to crop it to this ahead of time to get it perfect before you import it. And then you have other sizes here that are good for printing. For instance if you're using a photo printer or sending them somewhere online to be printed and you want to do a 5:7, there's a 5:7 ratio or a 4:3 ratio. You can also choose custom here and then type your own ratio amount. If you ever want to return to the actual ratio that was used in the original photo, click original. It'll go back to that ratio and you can use the Option key to stick to the ratio and get to a smaller size and crop some other portion of what's in here. Also note that for any of these ratios you can switch from horizontal to vertical here at the bottom. So for instance you can do a 5:7 and then switch to a vertical 5:7 or 7:5. You have other options here that are bundled in with crop. One is straighten, which used to be called rotate. And basically you can drag this line back and forth to rotate the photo. It'll zoom in and out to make sure that there's always something within the cropping area. There's no blank spaces. So if you want you can zoom in ahead of time like that. And then you see if you straighten it doesn't need to do that because there's plenty of image to fit around the corners. As you straighten you get these lines here so you could really kind of line up something like a horizon to one of these horizontal lines. So also down here at the bottom you'll notice an auto setting. Auto will automatically straighten the image based on some camera information and maybe if it can see the horizon. So we use that here. You can see how it straightens out that line right there that it finds. And also notice there's a reset button right next to it. So no matter what you do here or how you may crop things, if you use this reset button, it resets all the cropping back to the original. There's also this flip tool here which will flip the image like that. And if you ever need to flip vertical, hold the Option key down and then you can do a vertical flip. You also have the vertical and horizontal perspective changes here, which could be used in interesting ways. Like for instance, take this selfie here and do a little bit of a horizontal adjustment this way and the photo looks a bit more natural. And the important thing to remember with cropping in the Photos app or any editing you do is the changes aren't permanent. When you're done, this is what the photo will look like in your library and it'll stay like that. And when you use it somewhere else, this is what you'll get. But you always have the ability to use this Revert to Original button. Or even when you're just looking at the photo, you can go to Image and Revert to Original. The original is always saved along with what edits you've made. So when you crop something, you're never destroying the original image and replacing it with the cropped image. You can always get back to the original image. So say if you wanted to crop this photo here just down to the swans like that and use it for something, you can, and then you could always go back and revert to original to get back the entire photo. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.